Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we want to cover the 10 best champions in the entire game for Hydra Clan Boss. That is right. Ooh, this is a spicy one. So what happened was yesterday, I'm sure a lot of you tuned into the stream, but over on deadwoodjedi.com, also Deadwood Jedi on YouTube where this was streamed, we have the Hydra Creator Clash happening in-game. I'm involved. And obviously Odd One Gaming, Scratch, Hell Hades, Deadwood himself, Cold Brew, YST, and MTG Jedi. We are all competing against each other. We all had to pick champions in a draft format. I will try not to spoil the draft too much. This is the team that I ended up with in the end. So pretty fun. But yeah, you can also vote as well, guys. You can vote for the content creator that drafted the best team. So make sure to go do that. You have to, I think, create an account on deadwoodjedi.com, which is also free, I believe, as well. So it's totally cool. But come in, you get to pick 3 content creators, and then that's going to determine who's matched up against who. So, for example, right now, Scratch is number 1, Hades number 2. I'm barely number 3, ahead of YST at number 4. And then we've got a big fall off then to Cold Brew in 5, Deadwood in 6, MTG in 7, and Odd One in 8. Do I believe that these votes represent the likelihood of winning of each team? No, I actually don't. I think that the votes are kind of silly. Like, for example, Odd One, I think, is getting down. Well, not getting as many votes because he's, brand new to the test server and not as big a content creator as like Hell Hades, for example. So I think he's underrated. I think there's a few underrated teams in here for sure. I think pretty much all 4 of these guys lower down are underrated. But right now, I would be, if the votes go ahead like this, I would be seed 3 against seed 6. I think is Deadwood. So it'll be my team here against Deadwood Jedi himself with this team right here, which is very interesting. But anyway, look, what we want to do here today, let's talk about the 10 best champions as voted for by us effectively, right? Draft format, big competition. You have to pick the best of the best. So this is what, or these are what the 10 content creators thought. Obviously, spoilers for the draft. But yeah, let's dive in. Let's do it. So first of all, YST, to be fair, picked number 10 and number 11. So you could sort of interchange here. But I'm going to put the one that he picked first, which is Tuhanarak. Let's spell it right. That's as voted for by YST. Tuhanarak, the number 10 champion in the game for Hydra. There she is, support champion. She brings an accuracy aura, which could be useful. She has a cleanse at the start of every single one of her turns. That's very good. 2 debuffs removed from allies with continuous heals, so she can get rid of the true fears, the provokes, some of the poisons, all that stuff in Hydra, which is great. Her A1 can put decreased speed and puts out continuous heals. She has increased defense and speed for the team on a 3-turn cooldown. Then she has a 3-turn cooldown, decrease attack and block buff single target, so get that ahead of Wrath. And then we'll also do debuff spread, taking 2 debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. So if you target this on someone without any debuffs, it's going to spread decrease attack, block buffs. If they've got lots of debuffs, I don't think you can spread them if the enemies already have them. I'm not 100% sure how it works because I don't have this champion. Yeah, I think she's a very, very strong option. Decrease attack, block buffs, potentially both in AoE, decrease speed, increase defense, increase speed, and then lots of healing and cleansing. Fantastic, fantastic support champion. Decent single target damage. In number 9 then, Royal Guard by Deadwood Jedi. Small E, capital J. But Deadwood Jedi picking an epic in the number 9 position, which is really, really interesting here. Royal Guard, obviously phenomenal for Hydra, coming in particular with the 4-turn AoE enemy max HP nuke for the higher difficulties of Hydra. So don't get me wrong, for normal, even for hard, he's good for hard, but not crazy. And he's pretty rubbish for normal. I mean, he's not rubbish. He's not actively bad, but he's kind of bang average for normal. There's way stronger options for normal. But really for Brutal and for Nightmare, it's where this enemy max HP damage just pulls ahead, and just puts out phenomenal damage. Also brings you some backup decreased speed, actually quite nice. Backup decreased defense. The Royal Guard, he brings a lot, but pretty crazy to see an epic come into the top 10 total Hydra champions in the game. Top 10 out of all the legendaries, everything. Next up, we have Mighty Uko by MTG Jedi. We got two Jedis here. Two Jedis, no Sith. Maybe the S in YST stands for Sith. No, your Sith. Sith. No. E? What stand for? You can fill it in. Oh god, I can't let you guys fill it in. I'll get the most lewd comments ever. You're gonna get banned from YouTube. Don't blame me. But Mighty Uko, picked by MTG Jedi. He's coming in Speed Aura, which is really nice, but he's got the AoE buff strip with block buffs decrease accuracy, which is really cool. I think that's quite fun. Obviously, I think for building a resistance-based team with increased resistance, right? Decrease accuracy is sort of the second part of that puzzle and really opens stuff up. Bringing in block buffs is huge. He also has AoE decrease attack, and he also brings an AoE revive that's also increased speed. So you got a lot going on here. The AoE increase speed, AoE decrease attack, then the block buffs and decrease accuracy too, and the speed aura. Also, because he's doing all these AoE attacks, you can try him out in a provoke set, and he can very reliably do provokes there as well. So strong pick. Next up, Mythralla Life Bane. This was me. Nub. Raids. There we go. Oh my god, I can't type. I actually picked Mythralla, which I wasn't super expecting, but honestly, the reason was, looking at my account, I said Mythralla, number one, does a ton of damage, but she also does a ton for keeping your team alive. And I'll give you a sneak peek into my mindset. My mindset was, it's going to be too difficult to get these enemy max HP damage dealers, and I'm missing a lot of the top tier damage dealers. Like, I don't have a Michinaki. Unfortunately, I still haven't pulled him, and I don't have him on the test server. I don't have Michinaki. I don't have a Supreme Gaelic or anything like that. So I'm missing a lot of the top damage dealers. So I said, I'll just go for like the lowest tier damage. And the nice thing is Mythralla brings both increased defense, increased attack, and the Hex. So I feel like she's going to combo really well with pretty much any damage dealer. That's why I picked her up there. And then she also brings the Cleanse with a Strengthen and a really good shield. She's got Poisons on her A1 as well. Accuracy Aura if you need it. And yeah, this passive doesn't super much work in Hydra, but it does at least give her infinite resistance effectively. She's never going to get stripped or debuffed or anything. So Mythralla Lifebane, I think she's really underrated. I think people were really surprised by me picking her. Yeah, this was just a matter of me kind of looking through my account and going, okay, block buffs is very limited, and I really do want to block buffs like Uko and 2 Hanorach. I don't have 2 Hanorach. Uko is definitely a high rank pick for me. But I kind of said, all right, I can probably swing even a bad block buff champion. I can make it work, I think. But I really would like to have, I'm kind of lacking good protection champions and good revivers. So I need to get a good one early. So I got Mythralla. But I think she is definitely top 10. Next up then we have Duchess Lilitu. Speaking of revivers, by Mr. Scratch. Mr. Scratch, Duchess Lilitu, which is an incredibly good pick. Probably the most famous alongside Krisk for Hydra, and arguably Ahrisia nowadays, probably just as famous, to be fair. But yeah, Duchess, insane. Speed Aura. She has the AoE, block debuffs, increased attack, and perfect veil. So one of the very few. It's actually something I was looking at, right, as well. I was looking at, oh, how many block buff champions are there? Okay, which ones do I think I could maybe get? How many, burners? How many speed manipulators? How many protectors? How many champions deal with the Head of Torment? There's so few. Still, to this day, almost no good perfect veil champions in this game. There's a lot of champions that give themselves perfect veil, but almost none that do it for the team. So she's one of the best. Also, she brings huge damage reduction, 15% from bosses. AoE revive as well. So Duchess is, yeah, kind of renowned for being probably the best reviver for Hydra for good reason. She's really, really good. Next up then we have Nekmo Thar. Great pick here. Coming in from Odd One Gaming, the newest member of the test server. I think this was a fantastic pick. This is one I really would have loved to get, honestly. Yeah, Nekmo Thar, he's totally insane. Again, great speed aura. He brings increased speed with turn meter boost with an extra turn, AoE decrease speed and leech. He has AoE decrease attack as well, and he's getting turn meter from his passive. So he basically brings you just so much speed control, decrease attack, healing with leech. He gives you sort of so much of it, and it's all AoE attacks as well. It's just perfectly designed for Hydra. He is so good. I would actually go so far as to say his only weakness really are those rotations, which I actually think the test server is on. The rotations where he is bad affinity for Head of Wrath, and you miss decreased attack at a crucial moment, like you get a couple of weak hits in a row, and Head of Wrath smacks your team. That can get a little sketchy, but basically his only weakness is affinity, can sometimes mess him up in Hydra. Other than that, this champion is absolutely crazy. And I think absolutely deserving of the top 5. 100% deserving of the top 5. Next up then, we have, again, another amazing champ, Krisk, the Ageless, the Cold Brew. The Cold Brew Gaming? I think it might be Cold Brew Gaming. I think. Let's just put in Cold Brew, because I'm not 100% sure. We all know who it is. It's fine. I think it might be Cold Brew Gaming. I'll have to check. But yeah, Krisk, this surprised me that it wasn't the number 1 pick of the draft. Because we had a couple of bans, just global bans. I'll get to those in a second. Very much surprised me this was not the number 1 pick. For me, 1 and 2 were both banned. I really expected Krisk and Nekmo to be in positions 3 and 4. So yeah, number 3 position is a big surprise for me. But Krisk is obviously totally crazy. He's got the provoke on a 3-turn, increased defense for himself, increased speed for everyone else. He has the AoE attack. Most importantly though, ally protection for your whole team, 2 continuous heals on himself, and extending all ally buffs. So making all of your buffs that much more consistent. He extends his own continuous heal, so he heals himself up tons, which helps him to just survive the ally protection damage coming into him. He can tank it no problem. He mischief tanks because of the continuous heal. As a great passive, pumping out decreased attack and decreased defense on enemies that attack him. So he puts those out very consistently. And yeah, then he also has the AoE decreased speed on his A1. So Krisk, he's like the full package. This guy is totally insane. I'd say literally the only bad thing about Krisk, his base speed is kind of low. But other than that, like, this champion is just insane. He's so good. I will say, to make the most out of him, you kind of want revenge accessories, because if he's your only decreased speed champion, right, because he's going to be doing this move, then A1, he doesn't get to A1 that often. Revenge accessories make it way better. And he also probably wants 2 revenge accessories and 1 blood shield. So he has the shield to help with the mischief tanking. But Krisk he's crazy. And then for me, the biggest surprise of the draft, and definitely the one I disagree with the most in terms of placing this high, is Hades picked up Husk as the first pick of the draft, which was nuts. Don't get me wrong, is he Undead Hordes? I think he's Undead Hordes. Husk is fantastic, and arguably could come. I think there's a couple of big snubs here. Michinaki would be probably the biggest snub. That was actually 11th pick. So I'd be putting like Krisk and Nekmo up into 3 and 4. And then I'd be putting Michinaki somewhere here beside maybe Duchess 5 and Michinaki 6, something like that, you know? So I was very surprised by that. But Husk, he's obviously really good, right? I guess the Royal Guard surprised me a bit as well, coming in ahead of Michinaki. I don't know if Deadwood or Hell Hades even have Michinaki. But AoE, enemy max HP, very much like Royal Guard, big slam, and then he's got the provoke on the A1. So he gives you a provoke for Head of Decay, help lock him down, which is really nice. Again, affinity can be a bit of a problem for Husk sometimes, but generally speaking, he's great. He's also quite tanky, so he's not really going to die. And yeah, so Husk, he's a fantastic option. Very, very good. Should he be number 3 on our top 10 list? I would disagree with that, but it is the list as voted for by content creators. Then in number 2, we have Razur. I don't know if it has Iron Guts, I think. Well, I might have got his name wrong. The brand new Void Legendary. I did. He's got 2 A's, but we spelled Iron Gut right. Razur Iron Gut. Everyone voted on this. So Grazur Iron Gut, he was banned. Nobody could pick him in the draft. This guy is totally nuts. He's actually got really low ratings here for some reason. The live game. That's crazy to me. But he comes in with the AoE Provoke, increased resistance, increased defense for your whole team. AoE, enemy max HP nuke on a 3-turn cooldown, and he's Void Affinity. Then it also increases ally buff duration by 1 turn. AoE A1 that puts out shields equal to his defense. And then he's got a Vogoth passive, where he heals all allies by 70% of the damage he receives, or 35% of damage from boss attacks. Gives himself unkillable as well. He does have a big 33% defense in all battles aura. Really, really strong Hydra champion. He puts out so much damage on the short cooldown with his A2, also extending your buffs. He provides basically by himself permanent increased resist and defense for your team, so it makes your team really survivable. Brings provokes as well. Good shielding for your team on his A1. He's just a fantastic all-around champion. Definitely top 5, 100%. One of the questions I'm not 100% sure is like him versus Krisk and versus the number 1, and like which one would be, what sort of the order would be in terms of 1, 2, and 3. But for me, they would be probably 1, 2, and 3. And then finally, you probably guessed it, number 1, none other than Ahrisia. I think really had to be banned for this tournament because, I mean, whoever got Ahrisia, she literally does double the damage. of the next best damage dealer. So I think she does double the damage of Grisor and Michinaki at least. And she does probably 3 times as much damage as Husk or Royal Guard most of the time, right? 3 times. Like, it's a crazy, crazy difference. Ahrisia is just on another level. This champion basically exists as a gift to Wales. It's like, all right, you know what? Just buy lots of void shards, give us lots and lots of money, and you get to beat Hydra for free. It's effectively what this champion is, right? Also, a lot of other bosses too, but AoE double hitter, 3-turn cooldown that does enemy max HP and gives her a shield as well. So what makes her so strong? How does she do like 3 times as much damage as the other damage dealers? Well, it's a 3-turn cooldown versus the 4-turn of Husk and Royal Guard. It's equal to Grisor in terms of turn count, but because it's a double hitter, enemy max HP hits are actually capped against bosses. So you can fairly easily actually start to cap out your damage. So it doesn't matter if they do more damage with the hit, because she hits twice, it's going to cap out each time. So let's say it caps out at, let's say, 300,000 damage per hit on each Hydra head, roughly, right? She gets to do it twice in the one hit. So she gets 300,000. So she does double the damage of the other, of all the others. She does double the damage of Grisor and Husk, while also being on a 3-turn, and she's void. Her A3 is a double hitter, enemy max HP. And her A1 is an enemy max HP single hitter. She also takes half damage from AoE attacks, so she's really easy to keep alive. Crit rate in all battles aura, probably not super useful, but not useless either. There you go, Ahrisia. Voted #1 by all of us, and I agree. And there you go. The top 10 list. Like I said, what were the big snubs for me? The big snubs, probably Michinaki and probably Supreme Gaelic. Missing out of the top 10 were probably the biggest surprises to me. Like I said, for me, I'd be replacing Husk and Royal Guard with Michinaki and Supreme Gaelic, and then I'd have to reorder this. But other than that, I think this list looks pretty bang on for the most part. You got some real good champs in there. But let me know, what do you think? Is there anyone that was left off this list that you think should definitely be in there? I am very, very curious. Again, this is for the higher levels of Hydra. Obviously, if you go into normal, I think Trunda is probably the best still. But like, who cares about normal too much? You know, you're going to get past that pretty early on. This is for the higher difficulties and really pushing on. Yeah, the top 10 champs for Hydra. There you go. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting. Again, reminder, guys, go check out the draft over on Deadwood Jedi. The schedule, by the way, for the rest of the games, are they here? Whoop. Oh, the schedule maybe is not here. Here it is. So the draft was yesterday, Monday, 15th of May. The poll is on right now, and it's going to end later today. Then round 1, we're going to have Thursday and Friday. So I will be almost definitely on the Friday stream. So I'll be there for Friday. But yeah, we're going to have, I think, 4 fights each on Thursday and Friday. So all of the quarterfinals, as it were. So I think the semifinals are going to be on Monday, the 21st of May. It'll be these 4. And then the grand finals will be on Thursday or Friday, the 25th or 26th of May. The grand final, selecting the champion and seeing the best of the best team. One big twist as well is whenever you beat somebody, you get to steal one of their champions, which is pretty interesting. So for me, actually, I looked through it. I think there's only two people have a champion I can steal. There's actually several competitors where I literally have 1 or maybe 2 maximum of their champs. I just don't have any of their champions, basically, which is hilarious. But there you go. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.